Yeah,
Yeah,
okay,
sure.
it's recording now.
Yeah.
Okay, so I, Doug Wu of Wu Web Marketing, am talking here with Nicholas Petit. Say hi, Nick.
Hi, how's it going?
And so, what are we doing today? We're,
Uh, we're um troubleshooting and kind of just talking about website and productivity.
yep, that's what we're doing. And Nick is a Iditarod musher, and he runs a tour operation in Alaska. And so we were trying to figure out what we can do to improve his outreach with his website and what things we can be done to generate more visitors as well as donors as well as guests to his tour operation. And let's see here. One of the things that we first came across is first off, this website here is built in WordPress. So WordPress is a software program essentially that runs on a web host, and it's a free software program, and it's the one I particularly like to use the most because it has, it's WordPress is really, in my opinion, the best tool for a business user to use to gain outreach to build a website because it has all these really neat plugins and things you can do with it. But it does have a certain learning curve to it. So,
So,
anyways, go ahead.
like, so for me, I'm kind of like not a computer guy these days. So, you want to tell me a little more about what's WordPress? It's not a host, right?
No, no,
It's
yeah,
just
okay, yeah, sure. See, this is perfect, Nick, because I'm talking to you and I'm talking to all the people out there in the world, and this is many. Excuse me. Just as many people out there in the world don't know what WordPress is, like you don't know what WordPress is, and I should not be assumptive in, that you would know or anyone would know, but some people do know. But
I have an idea. It's like Microsoft Word or something, except like to create a website or something.
okay,
But
that's a
that's
good way to
about
think
all I
about it.
know.
Here's a simple way to think about it. Okay, so here's first off, here's WordPress.com, and here's oops, they're both Word. Did they? What happened to WordPress.org? There it is.
If they wanted to make money.
Yeah, no, no, no. There's two websites. WordPress.org is the free side, and WordPress.com is like the pay side. It's one way to look at it. But first off, when you think of technology, um, and computers and programs and software and all these things, there's a myriad of different kinds of things to learn. It gets overwhelming. It really does. And a lot of times when people hear technical people talk and they don't have the background, it gets just like you hear these words and you don't know what's going on and it gets confusing real quick. And
Yeah,
when
I
you,
don't know what that means.
right. And so basically I like to use analogies to help people understand something. So what I'm going to first do is start off like when you everyone's familiar with a computer, and a computer is a piece of hardware. Hardware meaning it's physical, and it's made of
Yeah,
hard components like a hard drive and a motherboard and a CPU and a DVD drive and all that good stuff. But then a hardware computer needs software to run. Software is like the program, the code. Okay, it's the ones and zeros on the hard drive. It's the stuff you download off the internet. It's the thing you load on the CD, which is basically just binary code. And so the way I like to use the analogy for a computer is a person. Okay, they have a physical body, but then they have like a soul or a personality.
yeah.
Okay,
I,
so
I,
the physical body is like the hardware, and then the Nicholas Petit personality is like the software. So,
yeah. That part, I think I got that part.
okay, so if you got that part, like I got a body, you got a body, I got software, like I need to eat, you need to eat. So, how do you eat? You use your mouth. I use my mouth too. You need to go to the bathroom. I need to go. How do you go to the bathroom? But it's sort of like things about how you eat or what you eat. You might have different preferences. That's like the software. It's like the personality or the choices you make or whatever.
Yeah,
But we're given like if Nicholas Petit says, I want to fly up to the moon, well, we don't have the hardware to do that. We're not built
Right.
that way, you know. But if Nicholas Petit says, I want to run a mile in this much time, well, you have to have sort of like the software, if you will, the desire and the code and then execute it. And so the way I look at it is a website is similar to a computer. The big difference is your computer is in your living room. The web host is out somewhere in the cloud, is what they call it. But really, it's no different. It's just a computer somewhere where you just don't know where it's at. Okay, and, and so a website server will serve up the website using some form of software. And so that's like the operating system. So just like how you have Windows, that's the software. So Apple, Mac OS,
So
X.
WordPress is like basic.
What's that?
WordPress is kind of like basic back in the day.
No, no, no. No. It's not like
No.
basic. It's like WordPress is like more like Windows, I guess. Like just as
Okay.
Windows is to a desktop, WordPress is to a web server. Because a desktop software is designed to do desktop things, and a web server in the software that runs on it is designed to do website things, which is serve up websites. So there's many different kinds of software programs that serve up websites. WordPress is just one of them. Does that make sense?
Okay.
Okay.
So it's a platform on which you build a website.
Say again? I missed that.
It's kind of like a platform onto which you build a
Yeah,
website.
it's a platform to which you build on a website. Yeah, exactly. So just as you have Windows, okay, you have Windows. That's the base operating system. Okay, that's like Nicholas Petit has learned how to wipe his butt, eat food, live and continually operate. But then you need the program of I need to learn how to dog mush. I need to learn how to play pool. Those are programs that you add on. They don't come with the base operating system, right? You're not born learning how to play pool. You're not born learning how to dog mush. You have to add that knowledge base into your software of your I don't know, into your mind or your personality or whatever. So WordPress, Windows is the same way. Windows is like I have Windows, but I need to use a word processor. I need to have a web browser. I need to do accounting or whatever. Now you might buy a computer with Windows, but it doesn't have Quicken on it. It doesn't have Office on it. It doesn't have I don't know what other programs, whatever programs you might use. Um, and so often what you end up doing is buying those programs or downloading those programs off the internet for free, and you install them onto Windows. Now, if you tried to download a program for Windows and install it onto Mac OS X, or you tried to download a Mac OS X program and install it onto Windows, it ain't going to work, because
Right.
it's an incompatible, thing. It's not made for that. In fact, you might try to install a program for Windows and it still won't work because it was designed for an older version of Windows or it's designed for a newer version of Windows or whatever. So WordPress is no different. WordPress, just like Windows, there's different versions. Like we had Windows XP, we had Windows 7, we had Windows 8, we have Windows 10. And so that represents the migration from one operating system version to the next over time. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. And WordPress goes through version changes. So we call those version changes WordPress core, the core operating system of the website serving software that we're using. And then WordPress also has these things called plugins. Those are like programs you would install on your computer, but you don't install them on your computer, you install them on WordPress. So now, going to your website, oh man, I should have done a TeamViewer session. Okay, you're not going to be able to watch this video um, till I'm recording the video and I can export it out and send it to you. So the stuff I'm doing right now, you can't see. I can tell you what I'm doing, but you won't be able to see it. But
Okay.
anyways, not right now. I'm now. Well, let me just show you how we do this. I'm going to open up the source code page, And see, the very first thing I do when someone wants me to help them with a website is I look at the source code. Because if I just glance at the source code, I can tell generally if it's a WordPress website or not. I mean, if it's a WordPress website, I can tell right away. But if it's not a WordPress website, it might take me a little time to figure out what it is, depending on what it is. And so, for example, I see here you have a plugin that you're using called Yoast SEO, Yoast SEO. So I know exactly what that is. Yoast SEO is a plugin to help you with your search engine optimization. Okay?
Okay.
WordPress is free. Unlike Windows, WordPress is free. Windows, you actually have to pay for. If you buy it independently of your computer, you have to pay for it. If you buy a computer with it, it comes bundled with the price of the computer. WordPress, on the other hand, itself is entirely free. So anyone who wants to use it doesn't have to pay to use the software. It's part of what we call open source software. Open source software, in fact, is my forte. I am all about everything free. I'm all about everything open source, if possible. And it's sort of like, for example, on the desktop arena, we have Windows, we have Macintosh, and we have something called Linux. I don't know if you've ever heard of it.
Linux, yeah, that's old school.
No, you think it's old school. It's new school.
Well, I didn't even know. I
Yep.
don't know.
In fact, let me tell you something. Most people don't know this, but Linux and Unix runs the internet. Pretty
Oh,
much.
really?
Yeah, every internet device generally, your Android phone is Linux, is a variant of Linux. Your router that you buy at Best Buy that you use Wi-Fi on has embedded Linux on it. Linux runs essentially the backbone of the internet, if you ask me. All these switches and IP routable device type things, embedded things, and so Linux is part of um, the business model with Linux and open source software is basically it's developed by universities and students and any developers that want to get into the mix. And the idea is that anything that they build is owned by the public. It's that's a general public licensing. It's owned by the public domain. They have all sorts of different licensing structures, but certain software programs they are designed to be free. But if you use them for commercial purposes, then you're supposed to pay for them. They have all different kinds of models. But anyways, forget about that. With WordPress, there are what's called plugins, and the Yoast SEO plugin is being used here. It's a free plugin. Okay, there's all sorts of plugins you can use, that are free, and often those free plugins also have paid versions that give you more features. And there's plugins to do language translations, automatic like click your language, it'll automatically retranslate it. There's plugins to do all sorts of wacky and crazy things. And so what it does,
What does this plugin do?
what's that?
What does this one do? The one that you were talking about?
Yoast SEO helps you with what's called search engine optimization.
Okay.
SEO,
Yeah.
search engine optimization. And generally when you're dealing with search engine optimization, that's what everybody wants and needs in Alaska. Actually, that's what everybody in the world wants and needs. Everybody wants business. Everybody wants to be number one in their business and show up on Google as number one in what's called the organic ranking. Now, organic ranking is essentially differs from paid placement, which means I pay myself to the top. And generally, if you look at a Google search engine result, and I'll pull it up here, let's do this. What would you want? What would you want to show up for in Google if someone searched for you? Like dog sledding tours, Alaska. What do you want? Think of your keyword phrase.
For like somebody looking for the tour, or
I don't care either one. What are you trying to sell here? You choose.
Yeah, well, what I'm asking is somebody looking for me or looking for what I sell, and I want to find the people that before they go somewhere else. which angle are we looking at?
Well, I guess see that's always. I mean, we're just doing this for an exercise. It doesn't really matter what I type in here. I could type in widgets and it'd be fine. But what I'm
Well,
asking you
so
specifically is, what
just
are you
like
trying to sell? What would you like to show up in at the highest possible ranking in Google for?
well, any dog sled dog, tour, Alaskan states, or
Okay, I'm gonna try
uh,
this one. Dog
you
sled.
know,
How about this? We'll start off with something simple. Dog
or,
sled tours Alaska.
or even visiting Alaska. Anybody typing in visiting Alaska?
Well, let's get off DuckDuckGo though. I want to go to Google. DuckDuckGo is a whoa. Sorry. You can't even see what's going on. I'm apologizing to you. I clicked on the wrong button. That's all. Anyways, okay. I'm gonna do dog sled tours Alaska, just because it really doesn't matter. This is not for real. This is just for shits and giggles. Whoops! I didn't mean to use profanity. Um, okay, so right now I'm looking at the page, and at the very top of the page it says add, and then the website address www Alaska Helicopter Tours, and then below that in big blue with an underline. Now that's where you normally click a link. It says Alaska Dog Sled Tour is the best way to see Alaska. Now I know because it says add, they paid for that listing. Okay, that is paid
Yeah.
placement. That is not organic ranking. Okay, I don't like doing paid placement. I like going after organic ranking. And there's reasons for that that I won't get into right now. But I'm just going to go ahead and scroll down the page a little bit and find the first uh, result that is the organic ranking. And on that on that search phrase, Dog Sled Tours Alaska, the number one site is www.alaska.org something. Okay, the rest of it I'm not going to read. And it says dog sledding in Alaska. Now,
So I know what that's just a big generic website sell, that promotes tours all over Alaska of different
I'm pretty
spots.
sure that's ATIA, isn't it? Alaska Tourism Industry Association. I should know this from
Probably.
memory. No, it's the Alaska
That's,
Channel. Ooh, did they change? Oh yeah, all the media got bought up. I know, it was like right before I left. So there might be some things that, anyways, I'm not as familiar. But anyways, it doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. But my point is that
they're the first ones that come up,
say again.
and they're not even the dog channel.
Well, I didn't really understand what you said. Their phone's a little
No,
muffly.
they're the first ones that come up, and they're not even a dog kennel. They're just a bigger thing.
Ah, see, interesting. Okay, see that's so in a when let me take a real quick look at this. I didn't even really look at it what the results were. Yeah, cause okay, see what it is exactly. It's like a shopping guide. I think this is it used to be. I think run by ATIA. I don't know what Alaska Channel is. I don't know. I actually no idea. Um, but on when I go to their website, they list Skagway, Denali, Anchorage, all the different things. These people probably pay to be on their website.
Yeah,
Okay, so
but a kennel, like kennel, should end up on like it can't be too hard to end up on top of them.
oh no, it can. It can be very hard. Well, I don't know how hard. And see, I have to spend some time doing some research. But the thing is that people or businesses in Alaska, it's pretty cutthroat. Like their competition for getting to number one, everybody wants to be number one, right? Well,
Yeah.
guess what? How many number ones are there? One.
Well,
You know what I'm saying? So if there's how many different dog sledding tour operators are there in Alaska? You think? You have any idea?
well, I think probably altogether over 50,
Fifth,
and
five zero.
but not none of them boast the reviews we get.
Okay. All right. So we got some work to do. I'm gonna just go maybe to page 3 and see if I can find you. But I wouldn't be surprised if you don't even
Read,
show up.
read the ones you got there.
Okay, let me go ahead and read them to you.
You don't mind?
No, I don't mind. Next time we'll have to do it to where you can see the screen too. Um,
Yeah.
AlaskaShoreExcursions.com, IDidARide.com. Then they have TravelAlaska.com. Now I know that one was the ITIA. Then we have Anchorage.net. So the Travel Alaska, Anchorage.net, those are not dog sledding providers as much as they are like portals or shopping guides
Yeah.
where they list multiples. AlaskaTours.com, SledDogTours.com. Then we got a TripAdvisor link. Then we got BushAlaskaExpeditions.com.
Where's the TripAdvisor link?
TripAdvisor, I think it showed up at 7-ish, 8.
What is it?
Oh, who is it? Alaska Dog Sled Tours, Anchorage. Let's see what
Okay.
this one. Yeah, it's somewhere in Anchorage. Anyways,
I'm really surprised that we didn't show up already. Like,
oh no! Don't be surprised. You might not even show up at all for all I know. Let's see. I'm not gonna read them anymore. I just want to see if I can find you now. It's gonna be faster that way.
well, there's Dogstead, there's Girdwood Mushing Company, and Petit.
Okay, so like Alpine Air Alaska shows up before you do. They're on page 3. They're like,
They pay good money.
yeah, they're like 30. Excuse me, 25 or something like that. The 25th link. Okay, so AlaskaTours.com shows up.
That's low.
Say what?
That's 12.
That's 12.
12, so that's my tour, basically. But it's my old tour, Girdwood.
Yeah.
I'm done with them quarters.
Right. So here's my point. Is my opinion on this is you always want to be as high as you can, you know. But I don't like having to go past page 3 when I'm looking for something. In fact, I generally don't even go past page 1 unless I'm looking for something specific and I can't find it on page 1. And I can also let you know that the relevancy with Google and their search results seems to have gone downhill. So yeah, you're not really even showing up, Nick. I actually haven't used it in a while, but I have a software program that will do a much better, quicker job to figure out exactly your ranking. And I think I have it. I haven't even used it in so long. But it will actually go ahead and run any series of keywords. Because we just typed in an arbitrary set of keyword phrases. We're probably going to develop a much larger list than this. You know, like one side is your tours, one side is your donation, but we're not only going to target like donation, like one set of keyword phrases. We'll probably target more than one series of keyword. Like what I mean by keyword phrase is a keyword is one word, a keyword phrase is more than one word, right? So dog sled tours Alaska is your keyword phrase, but we're not going to just target. We might not even target that. We might target something else, you know. But we don't want to just have one target. We want to have more than one target because we know that there's different things that people could type in.
Yeah, and like, does it have to be a whole phrase or just keywords?
Well, I mean, the language I'm using is a phrase is more than one word is all I'm saying. Because a word technically is just one word. We're not going to just put in sledding or dog. You get what I'm saying? Because dog sledding is a phrase.
What you're saying is, you can't include each word of a phrase as separate words that all would end up. So the search engine optimization has to be one phrase.
Well, because the thing is, when you let me just explain something simply to you. When you go to Google and you search for something, you type something in there. If you type one word in there, okay, that's not specific enough to find anybody. I mean, if you just type dog or you just type Alaska, you're not going to find you. So you want to have more words in there because Google is all about relevancy. It's like, what are you looking for? And Google is saying, I want to find what is most relevant to what you just typed in. So
Right.
the more specific you are, the better chances you are to show up as number one. See, like for example, let me give you a real simple example. Every time I talk to anyone in Girdwood about doing tourism, they would be all like, "Oh yeah, I know what my keyword phrase is. I want to show up in Google at number one under Alaska tour." And I'm all like, "There's like 5,000 people and businesses all competing over that. You're not going to get it, period. You couldn't pay me enough money, period. Okay? It's not possible because it's too competitive and it's too general, and more importantly, it's not specific. It's not relevant to what you are. Yeah, you are an Alaskan tour, but you're more specifically a dog sledding tour. But, you might even get a little more closer and put a dog sledding tour and then where you're physically at. That's another important one because someone who's looking for a dog sledding tour when they're in Anchorage doesn't want to find a result when that's in Juneau. Or not Juneau, I mean Fairbanks.
But like, so I'm in Big Lake, but I want to make sure people in Anchorage, are involved, right? But so like, it's it's not that far from Anchorage. Do I advertise in Anchorage? It's the same.
So basically, what I would do then,
Or,
is type dog sled tours Anchorage, Alaska, and that's one set of keyword phrases. Okay, and then the second set of keyword phrases would be, keyword phrase dog sled tours Big Lake, Alaska, and then you could say dog sled.
multiple keyword phrases.
Right, and then you would want to target like dog sled tours Nicholas Petit. Then you want to
Yeah.
target
Change
dog.
the order of the words.
What's that?
And change the order of the words.
No, 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 no. Don't get too complicated. Forget about the order. Just think about what you're looking for. You get what I'm saying? Think about what you're looking. Because the order will have influenced the search engine ranking. Don't get me wrong, but what I want to know is I need to know as much about your business so that we can generate the best set of keywords that matches your business, so that
So, like, there's mushing and there's dog sledding, and both are good keywords, but don't belong in the same sentence.
okay,
You know what I
so
mean? 'Cause
so
it's
let me. That's a good
both
question. Okay, so it's better. See, sometimes someone will do something like this. I want to show up under dog sled tours, Anchorage, Alaska, Big Lake, donate, and like if you don't want to bundle them all together, it's better to separate. So like we want to focus one set of keyword phrases for donations, we want to focus one set of keyword phrases for the tours. But of the tours and of the donations, we're going to have more than one set of keywords, keyword phrases.
But like, just within just the tour realm, for example, skipping the whole donation thing.
Okay.
There's looking at keywords and key phrases. Go dog mushing in Alaska.
You got it, baby. See, that's where there you go. Or hey,
then,
listen to this one.
Here's the other thing. That was sentence A. Go dog mushing in Alaska. Sentence B. Go dog sledding in Alaska.
Now you got it. Now you got it.
But
you're exactly right. You're thinking the right way now.
Write each one out like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So basically, sometimes people in tourism industries and technical industries and whatever industry that you're in, you sometimes have to think about things a little differently than you think about things because you don't think the same way as your client thinks. You get what I'm saying?
No.
The way that words they would type in. Someone might say, "What can I do in Big Lake if I have half an hour's time?" You know what I'm saying? And you want to show up number one as that.
Yeah.
Okay. So you have to get a little creative with it because the last thing you want to do is
show up as number one in multiple.
Right. You want to diversify. You want to diversify what things you could show up in number one as, and then you want to break apart your content to target we have this page to target this set of keywords. We have this page to target these set of keywords. You get what I'm saying? It's better to sort of break up your content and be more specific and so that uh, the um, the page has a better chance of showing number one because see the thing is just because we choose a set of keywords, that's not good enough. We need to actually now build pages with those words on them with pictures of dog sleds, or like, is there a difference between a sled and difference between mushing? It's quite possible with Google's AI intelligence that if you put a picture with a sled, you know, and it said sled dog, it said that word, and because it's looking for relevant results. It's like, is this word on this page? Is there a picture of that thing on there? Are other people looking at it? How many other websites are pointing to this website? All these different factors are taken into account. Okay, and so you sort of want to spend some time thinking about what you really want to be number one as before you just start doing it, because it takes some time and work, and you don't want to start trying to work towards something that's.
A bunch of different ones, right?
I had a hard time understanding that. Say it again.
So the goal is to be number one at multiple bunch of phrases.
Yeah, I mean, ideally, but it's not really going to be possible to do
Yeah.
because it's always a moving target, number one. And number two, you don't have a ranking. Number three, that I can see, number three, a lot of people have been working on this a long time and they're well ahead of you. And just to get to number one just overnight is not going to necessarily happen. But if I were able to get you to number one over a long period of time on any one of these sets of keyword phrases, I would be very satisfied. Even if I got you to the first page, that would make me happy, you know. And it's a lot of it's a lot of manipulation and trial and error. A lot of time it takes, because the thing is that part of it, there's this concept called um, link juice. Link juice. How much juice do you got? And link juice really is sort of describing, how do I explain this? It's sort of describing the power of the outreach and interest of your website. And Google takes a number of factors into account. So, like, for example, a website like CNN.com, okay, huge
Yeah.
amount of traffic, people from all over the world looking at it. I guarantee you, every single one of these dog sledding tours and adventures has way, way, way less link juice than CNN.com, right? Because CNN's got a ton of link juice because how many people are visiting it? Where in the world are they visiting it from? How much frequency of visitation does it get? It's just, going to way outpace any of these websites. But if for some reason CNN did an article on petit tours, right? Team Petite or whatever, and they put a link to your website. So they said, like, Nicholas Petit wins 2020 Iditarod, and there's a whole story on it. And then for more information about, Petite Tours, click here. That one little URL on that website pointing to yours will give you a tremendous amount of link juice. Follow me?
Right. So.
Because not only are you getting the link juice from just being listed on CNN, but CNN's going to have like hundreds of thousands of visitors visiting their front page. If your notice was on the front page of CNN, you're going to actually have people clicking on that link in addition to that. You get what I'm saying? That's sort of a measure of so there's all sorts of things that provide you link juice. Things like your speed, how fast your page loads. So we talked about that before we started recording. Remember, I'm looking at it now, and so to get your link juice up, we want to make it faster. That will improve your ranking. Follow me?
Yeah. So, and to get it faster, the quickest way is to get rid of what we got.
Well, okay, so let's go back to the analogies, what we were talking about when we were talking about WordPress. Okay, so we have the software and the data, and we're using GoDaddy, which is the host. So the hardware is over in GoDaddy's headquarters or wherever they're serving it up from. And the equivalence to me of that is like, whenever you start a business, and when we're talking a retail business, storefront retail business, you need a building, right? What else do you need? A sign. You need all sorts of displays and inventory inside your store. But the very first thing you need to start a retail storefront is you need a physical place. You need a building. You need a place you're either going to rent it or you're going to build a building yourself or you're going to buy a building. Think about that as the web host. But then your business that's operating inside of that, okay, that's like your website. The website needs to be put somewhere. It has to be served from somewhere. It actually has to physically reside on a computer. It actually has to run WordPress, and it actually has to, have power and a connection to the internet. And once it has all that, then it does what it does, and it serves up information to the users across the world. So without even changing anything with your website, I do think we should either move it, meaning go. Let's relocate. Let's take what we have, pack up our bags, empty the building, and put all the stuff in a new building. That's a new web host. And that process with WordPress doesn't have to be very hard. There's a plugin I like to use called Duplicator that once you install the Duplicator plugin, you can just install the plugin, run it, download a file, then go to your other web host, install WordPress, and then install the Duplicator plugin, and then restore the file. It's generally, sometimes you run into some other snafus. Now, before that, I came across that Duplicator plugin. It was a pain to move WordPress websites. I like that Duplicator plugin a lot because it makes it really easy not only to move a website, but to back it up. So the other option is just to pay GoDaddy more money. So that would be like, well, we're staying with the same. Okay, say we were renting from this building provider over here, and we need more space. Oh, we're just instead of one unit, we're getting two or something. I don't know. It's not really an accurate analogy, but the idea is we have two options. Is we can either increase our plan at GoDaddy to move to a faster plan in which we have to pay more money, or we just switch to another provider, which I don't know if it's going to be more or less because I don't know how much we're paying now. But I never was a real big fan of GoDaddy because of their performance and their support. They're sort of like made for the masses. Everybody knows about them and uses them. I think even Kelvin uses them, but I don't really.
Yeah.
He does.
Oh yeah, I'm pretty sure you use GoDaddy.
Yeah, he's been on that for a while, I guess. Anyway, so my suggestion is, I'll put together. I'll not only put together a list of things that I would want you to do, but I'll put together like a list of things that I suggest and the corresponding prices and whatever. But anyways, what we have here is a WordPress website that has a very slow load time, and that slow load time is hurting you painfully because even all the work we could do with trying to optimize the site for SEO, we might not even improve our results.
Because everything else is loading up before we start loading up.
Yeah, and they don't want to put you on, page 10 even, for all we know. Because listen, if there's 10 pages of 10 organic listings, there's 100 websites that could potentially be before you if you're not on page 11. And it might be the case because if there's 50 providers, a lot of these listings aren't the providers themselves, but these conglomerate, listings or these portal listings, And so I'm gonna have to see if I can dig up that software program, and because it's a lot faster, and it'll also give me results not just for Google but for Yahoo searches or DuckDuckGo searches or whatever kind of search engine it is. I don't even remember all the different search engines it uses. And if I don't even have that software program, I'm sure there's some more free online resources we can use that I haven't even thought about or looked at. I just haven't been in the game for a while, so nothing's coming to mind at the moment. But I know there's some out there. So my point is that this first byte time issue Oh, yeah. Now I'm looking at it again. Well, that's weird. Did I rerun the test? I must have, I guess. Because the first byte time now is I'm looking at it says 4 seconds. So yeah, we want the whole website to load within 3 seconds, or under 2 seconds is ideal. If you can get under 2 seconds, that's like great. If you get under 3 seconds, that's like okay, it's livable. But we
Did
really
it
want it
just
as fast as
did it
possible.
perform better just now? Is that what you're saying?
What was the question?
Did it just perform better on the second test? Is that what you're saying?
No, no.
Or
I remember the first byte time saying 3 seconds.
yeah, yeah.
And now I'm looking at it and it says 4 seconds, and so I'm like, well, how did that number change? And I was asking myself, did I rerun the test or something? Let me
It's
just.
3.669, so it's almost four.
Yeah, see, yours is different than mine because every time it runs, it can be slightly different. And
Oh, so
the reason
I didn't
why
know
is
this.
that you're on a shared hosting plan. I'm sure you are. Okay, a shared hosting plan means there's all sorts of other websites on the same computer as the one you're using. So it's having to deal with serving up data for different websites. So there's always going to be fluctuations because of the changes in traffic. Like like if you ran this test and I ran this test at the same exact time, it's going to be a slower load time because that server's having to deal with two requests at the same time.
Copy.
Okay.
So, like, so if we actually were on CNN, they'd have a real hard time getting our, like, and got a lot of clicks at
Oh
the
yeah,
same time.
dude.
It wouldn't.
Listen, you know what
Uh,
happened if you were on CNN and you won the Iditarod and everyone tried to go to your website? Like if we got 10,000 visitors in, 5 minutes or something like that, your web server would probably die. It would probably no, it wouldn't die.
really?
The page the page probably would never load for everybody. I mean, it's quite.
So this time the first byte says 1.6 seconds,
See, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. It'll change because every time
but
you
it's still
run
an
it,
F.
it'll be different.
It still gets an F though.
Yeah, I know. It will always be F. That's what I'm saying. It's never going to change from F because you're on GoDaddy. You're on a
Yeah.
GoDaddy shared plan that what they do is because you want the best value and you pay a low price, they stick a bunch of different websites to shared on the server so that they're all using the same computer to serve. So that's like you ever use a computer and you open up one web page and then you ever use a computer and you have like 50 web pages open. It's a lot slower when you have 50 web pages open than when you just have one running on it. Believe me, it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
The web server is
Yeah.
no different. It's all about resource demand. Okay,
So
so like
basically,
right now I ran it.
there's a bunch of us in the same test pool, basically.
Yeah, right. And so right now I just reran it, and my first byte time was 1.4 seconds, and it's about 9 seconds, uh, 9.8 seconds. And so still 10 seconds, that's way too long. It needs to be 3 seconds or under. Your first byte time is a little better, but see, the fact is that it's varying. But your first byte time is varied now between like 1.4 seconds all the way up to 4 seconds, and that amount of fluctuation between your first byte time and being anywhere between, that's a big sort of range of swings. You get what I'm saying?
And it's weird. Like I got less than 1 second on the byte on the first byte, and total the speed index is 7.7. So like it keeps going quicker and quicker. It's funny.
Yeah, and I don't know if that's. I don't know. I'm not sure if that. I don't think it should have anything to do with the fact that you're rerunning it and caching it. But I mean, there are. Here, let me rerun it myself and see what happens. Yeah, so when it does this test, usually, if I'm not mistaken, it's pulling off the data from different servers across the world at different intervals, and then it's averaging them all together. You follow me?
Yeah.
So your actual real-time speed is always going to fluctuate because we don't have any idea what anybody else is visiting that's being hosted on that same server. as well as you could have people looking at your website too while we're running these tests. See, now I just did one. The first byte time was under 1 second, but still
Yeah.
my first, regardless of the first byte time, forget about it. The paint, it's not finishing till like almost 10 seconds. So, anyways, yeah. So basically, what I say is we should probably just go through the motions of it anyway. Like I said, if we can figure out what plan you're on, how much you're paying, and then I can give you an example of okay, oh, for that price, oh shoot, let me show you what web host I would recommend using, and I'll show you the speed times I get on my package. Um, the company I like to use is Fast Comment. It's not a very well-known company, but I like them a lot. And their share, even their cheapest plan, I think if you buy it in a year block, I think it's like brick comes down to like $3 a month.
It's not bad.
It's cheap. I mean, especially and it's all cloud hosting. Oh, you probably don't know what cloud hosting is. Or not, I mean,
Well,
not
I think
cloud
it,
hosting. It's
it
all
is the cloud, and so it's like basically it's hosted up in the cloud, so it's not
Well,
on the
technically,
computer.
everything's in the cloud. I didn't mean to say cloud. I meant to say it's SSD. So, SSD is, the old hard drives were physical drives, and they have physical components, a platter and an arm that moves around. The new hard drives are like big memory sticks. There's no moving parts. Those are much faster.
Okay.
And so like their beginning packages start at, well, they're normally $10 a month, but if you sign up with them initially, you get a 70% off price, and that 70% off price breaks down to $295 a month. And I'm an affiliate with them, so if you purchase through them, I get like a $50 commission. But but if you purchase from them direct, it's still the same price. Whoops. Okay, so whoops. I wonder if it'll just let me. Oh no, it's probably gonna make me buy it. I was just trying to go through the. I forget what duration. Anyways, yeah, I'll spend some time and if you okay. So what I'm gonna do is I'll send you a list of things that I want you to do and think of. So one of
Okay.
them is figure out if you can get access, because even if we don't move the host, if we just stay with GoDaddy for the time being, there's still things I can do to help you, but I need to get into the back end. I need the username and password.
Okay. I'll, I I should be able to have that by tomorrow.
Okay. And do you remember our little discussion on keyword phrases and stuff?
Yeah.
Okay. So when it comes to the keyword phrases, just do it. Let's make it real simple. 5 and 5. Okay. Let's start off with 5 and 5. So give me your top 5 keywords for donations, and your top 5 keywords for what's the
Key
tours?
phrases, key phrases or keywords.
Okay. Okay. A keyword phrase is a bunch of keywords in one. I mean, because when I say keywords, that could mean keyword phrase or keyword phrases, but but
Okay. Copy.
okay, yeah. So what I really mean to say is I want a list of 5 keyword phrases, and those
Yeah.
together make up your keywords. That's like an abbreviated way of saying it, essentially. I'm
Yeah.
sort of
I
technical
get
with
you.
language, and I'm lazy with it too.
Yeah.
um, So what else? So we covered a lot of good information. I mean, there's a lot of good information I shared with you there. Although we haven't done anything, I think that I've been able to give you some insight into what things you need to think about. And
Yeah.
if you can, I don't want to go selecting your images if you already have an idea of what. Because I mean, I could spend a lot. a lot of time looking through images, not knowing what you have the eye of seeing all the images and knowing what I want you to choose your representation and image more than I, but I'll give my input too. And then some people like my input better or trust my input, but I want
Are
you to
you
have as
any
much
good
control.
at are you any good at working on images?
Yeah, I mean, it depends what you need to do with them. I'm not the best graphic designer, but I have the ability and tools. It's not my forte. I'm more of a SEO technical person.
Okay.
But I mean, tell me what
It's
you
just
want done,
like
and I'll tell you if I can do it.
it's weird. Like I used to have a PC type of laptop, and I could do a picture with some words pretty easy. But now on the Mac, I can't get shit done.
Okay.
The the editing tool is just not not that it doesn't do shit really. You
Okay.
can't do
Well,
anything with it. Um, but some of it's like making. I gotta make some poster type of things, like rack cards. But
okay.
I want to hang stuff in town here in Big Lake. I don't remember where I was heading to that, but because of the pictures issue, like a picture should be a picture plus some information on there, probably, huh?
Yeah, it shouldn't just be a picture, obviously. Well, I mean, but see, the thing is that we don't necessarily, depending on how it is and how your website's built, we might just load the image there, and then the text that appears could be through WordPress and not through the image. Like it overlays it. Sometimes you
Right.
want to embed it into it. It just depends on what you're working with and what part of the website you're working with, and yada yada. And now, I can see. I'll tell you right now. Um, Here's another one. This is free. If you want to try it out, go ahead. Let me get you here. Facebook.
What is it?
It's a desktop publishing software. It's
Oh,
open.
okay.
It's open source. So at least you can download it and try it and see if it works better for you than what you were using before. And there's more. I got more tricks up my sleeve. Believe me, I do. But just start with
No,
that.
I'm glad I sent you a message.
Oh yeah, yeah. I'm glad you did too, because I need to get back into business anyways, and I wanted to reconnect with Alaska anyways, and I don't really. I'd rather work with people I know and love and trust, and know I can do business with successfully, that have a quality product to sell that actually can make money. Than the last thing I want to do is try to work with a new startup that I don't even know if like I can help them. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to take someone's
Yeah,
money
yeah,
if they don't have a good product, and even if I did a great website, they're not successful because their business sucks. You know what I'm saying?
yeah. It it yeah. Um, you can't polish a turd and tell people it's not a turd. So
Yeah,
yeah,
right, right. I'm sort of. I'll tell you what. I've learned something in life with the amount of skills I have and value that I can provide, especially because I'm not arrogant and I will share information and I won't condescend people. That's very rare in the tech industry. To be honest.
yeah. I mean, like, there's a reason the simpler person asks somebody that knows the computers a little bit better how to do stuff or for help. It's like asking the electrician, like, "Hey, I need help how to do this and that." Is they start talking about aught six, aught four, aught two? What the fuck?
Yeah, right.
Speak English.
Right. And the other thing is I'm not necessarily sure how timely I'll be because to be quite honest with you, Nick, I'm in disarray. My office is a mess. I have not been able in the 5 years I've lived here to even get a working functional office, just because I've been doing so many other things. And I'm just getting to a point where give me like a week or two, and I think I'll have things in line. I'll have the physical part of my home in line, but then I have to organize my computer. Like I have so much data and things of my own that I just got like lying on my desktop. I've got like 4 or 5 computers. I got data strewn across all the place. Every computer I have is a dual boot, so I'm running Windows and Linux, or most of them. And so sometimes like, oh gosh, I got to reboot and go into the other operating system. Like I'm just fragmented because I haven't used any kind of organizational system because I've just been doing whatever I've been doing. And so I need to get myself organized better before I can be really effective on a full time basis. But see, like
Oh,
doing what I did with you, just sitting down and talking, I can shoot from the hip, but I can probably like there's probably very few people that could find someone like me just out of the blue. You know what I'm saying? Like just start calling around a different. You would be lucky to find someone that would be able to be not only willing to sit down and talk with you and explain as much as I have, but also just to do it for free or pro bono initially. Till you know.
At at 9:24 Alaska time on Sunday. Where are you, California, right?
No, I'm in Oklahoma. It's past midnight, brother. So
You're in Oklahoma.
yeah.
I didn't even know that. But last time I heard, you lived in like San Ramon or something.
Yeah, Pleasant Hill, close by to San Ramon, yeah, California. So yeah, so like, but see, that's the beautiful thing about it, Nick. I wouldn't have done this for anyone. I would do this for you. You know what I'm saying? I mean, there's some other people that I might have done it for, but being that I know you, I trust you, I like you, you speak English well, we can communicate together easily. We've already established the fact that there's some value that I can create you. I may have already created you just in legal suggesting Legal Shield alone that might be of value to you, And so
Yeah.
that makes me feel good because I'm looking at your website. I'm seeing, hey, you're not even really showing up. We have speed loading issues. Like these are things I can help you with. You know what I'm saying? This
Yeah.
is an opportunity for me to demonstrate my skill set.
So I down. How do I download the Inkscape there? Because I click download and current version, and then lower it says Mac OS. So like, where do I click? Which one?
The Mac OS, because you have an Apple, right?
Yeah. So I click on where it says disk image there.
Let me go back to that page.
Download,
Yeah, exactly. Just anywhere in that box is fine. You have to have version 10.11 to 10.15 though. If you're not current enough, if you have an older Mac, it might not install.
Oh, it's like 3-4 years old, I think.
Just try. I don't just try it and see what happens because you could download.
It's downloading something. We'll
Yeah,
see what happens.
it's when you install it is the issue. And see, here, let me tell you something else, Nick. I am like master recycling king. Okay, you have no idea how much I love recycling. I built an entire chicken coop out of scrap waste wood, scrap glass, scrap sheet metal. The only things I had to buy new were maybe nails and glue. I made a wheelbarrow entirely out of branches. All my
I love that thing. Did you see my comments?
yeah, I did. Dude, everyone loves it. It's so funny because I was like dead broke. I'm
Great.
like, I need a wheelbarrow, man. What am I going to do? And I was like, fuck it, I'm going to just make one. I'm like, what do I have to make out of it? I'm like, oh, these tree branches will work and this thing will work. I love woodcrafting.
All you gotta know is how to make a circle.
Yeah,
You know pi.
yeah, right. And so what I was going to say is every single computer in my office is like 10 years old or older. And every single piece of equipment in here is like either used, recycled, aged, or given to me by free, found in the garbage. Seriously, I have 3 computers here that were thrown away that I use for like, I have one as a cloud server. I use another one just for like a loaner computer. I put Linux on them because you'd be amazed at my creativity in recycling things out of the waste stream. I'm having so much fun doing it too. But I really could use and benefit from faster hardware. But I'm sort of making a point out of like, there's so many people that have these computers, but they don't know how to use them. They buy new ones. They still don't know how to use them. They throw the old ones away. And what I want to do is use these old computers to train students how to fix them, recycle them, part them out, build computers, build websites, and I want to start a whole university based on waste computers.
Well, I think, people always want to go buy the upgrade, so you should be able to have any people that don't.
Well, especially right
afford
now.
the upgrade and take the old one.
Yeah, exactly. And you know what? I guarantee you, when it comes to used computers, it's just like around here. There's so many people that will like the home gets demoed, and they just dump all the stuff into a trailer and then bring it to the dump. All my woodworking, I picked up every single 2x4, pine board, flooring, whatever it is, pulled all the nails out of it, and I even reused the nails.
That's reusing the nails. That's getting up. That's pretty hardcore.
Yeah, I'm
I
hardcore,
don't know
dude.
how beat up they were, but
Well, it depends. I won't always I mean, some. I mean, some nails. I won't use them for certain purposes if they're used. But if there's a situation where I can get away with a used nail, then I will. But I can't always use used nails. It just depends on the situation. And in addition to
well,
that, like I'll fix monitors. I
with the
love old
nail.
sounds. No, 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 no. I'm just saying recycling.
I'm kidding.
I'm just saying recycling in general. Funny.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, I just there's because I had a friend that owned a recycling outfit in Livermore, California, and when I saw how much stuff was just being thrown into the waste stream, it just made me sick. It made me absolutely sick. Um, and a lot of people don't realize because usually what happens with computers, at least Windows computers is a little easier, I think. Most of the time, it's because Windows expires, it's no longer supported, or it's too slow, or it's got a virus, or whatever. They can't install certain things on it. They can't get online, and a lot of the times, the only thing that's wrong with it is the software. It's something to do with Windows, or it's got a virus, or something's gone wrong, and all you got to do is erase the hard drive and reinstall. And in other cases, when reinstalling isn't good enough, say you're running a computer with Windows 7 and Windows 7 now today is no longer supported, I just throw Linux on it. And the thing is, Linux runs so much faster than Windows, so you can take all these older computers that were slow and you put Linux on it, and it actually runs better.
Huh.
So there you go. Anyways, I think
That's
that's
pretty cool to know.
what's that?
But that's pretty cool to know that you can. I'm glad you can't get out with Max.
Well, you know
Like,
what? I would know more about Macs if I had more Macs, but my only Mac died, the hardware died, and I can't even think of right now. You can install Linux on you. Yes, you can install Linux on Macs because I have
you
a.
used to play that thing. I mean, that's all I remember. I knew I was learning computers, and then I got into mushing it, and I just stopped all that.
Well, technically, technically, the Mac OS X runs on a Unix kernel. Unix and Linux are like cousins. So, in a sense, a Mac is Unix. It's an
Okay.
adapted form of Unix, but not really. It's got a lot of proprietary stuff. You know, it's like the engine. Think about it that way. It's the engine inside the car is the same or similar, but then everything else, the chassis and the tranny and the doors and everything is proprietary. It's Mac. That's one way to think about it.
Okay. Makes sense.
Okay. So, anyways, I'm dead beat. I'm tired, but I had a great time talking to you. And
Yeah, it's nice. And thanks for all the pointers, and looking forward to
yeah,
further in the conversation.
and I'm not sure if I'm going to get. I'm not sure if I'm going to get on sending you an email right away. What I
No
probably just
rush.
have you do is see if you can get that. What do you call it? The login stuff, and then just think about your keywords. You don't have to come up with the list yet. Just as time goes by, maybe just keep a pad and a pen near you, and just write down different words that come to your mind and different groups of words or keyword phrases. But ultimately, I think we should probably just try to hone it down. I don't know about the donation so much. I don't know if it's going to have as many keyword phrases. It seems like it might not. I don't know. This
But, yeah, I don't know. Like, I don't know if the donation is really like what I'm trying to advertise big time. Like the tour is like an ongoing thing. We're gonna need ongoing, and then the donation thing's like, well, we're kind of fucked right now,
right.
and like really kind of fucked. Like I can't put on public media that we're so screwed. We don't know how we're gonna buy the dog food because that doesn't look very responsible, and I don't want to be that guy on Facebook. But that's kind of where we are. So that's kind of like getting to a desperate moment. I'm like, okay, who do I know that's got a bunch of followers who might be able to like help spread the word?
Well, I
And
mean, there's two different ways to look at that. That you could say, I don't want to look irresponsible, or you could say, hey, everyone's got this pandemic, and I'm in distress, and we could really appreciate your donation right now. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I
oh
mean,
yeah, but that's what my I don't know. If you go on my page there, Team Petit Tours, or yeah, go on the Team Petit Tours one. You'll see just like a post that I put recently, and like, and then the other ones are just the stuff we do and the stuff I used to linger with. But that was kind of the approach was the initial thought. And, like that's what I was doing tonight. Like I put a post up today, and it did work out. I was trying to make it build a little more. I made like $500-600 in donations, which is really good because I can pay my car insurance today.
oh wow, good for you. And see now, there's a whole nother side that we haven't even begun to talk about, and that's the marketing side that does not involve your website. So that's things like Facebook shares and whatever.
Yeah,
So I'll tell you this: I'm gonna get off the phone with you, and once
yeah,
I get off the phone with you, I will do this: is I'm gonna post, I'm gonna reshare your thing, and I'm gonna just say, oh, I'll post something, and we'll just see what comes out of it.
yeah. Just like whatever. Well, it's not a big deal, and it's not like if the arm feels twisted, it's not the intent. It's more like, hey, you know what I'm up to. You want to help me and get the word out. But that was just the intent of the original calling you or texting you, and I'm really stoked that we had the conversation because you kind of opened my eyes on a couple of things that I could like the legal thing especially fucking pissed me off.
Right, and you know what?
So
Just just to clarify, whoops, sorry. Just to clarify, I what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take Team Petite. Oh, you know what we should do? Let's stop here. Let's not do anything yet. You know why? I want to get the back end info because before I share it or do anything, I want to get your metrics. I want to figure out how many visitors are you getting per day, and what's your traffic. And so when I share it, then we can look and see how much actual traffic we got from that share. You get me? Because if you don't, you want
are
to start
you
with a baseline. So you want to know how like you want to set a
can you
goal, but if you don't even know what you're at, you don't even know what goal you should set.
are you able to see analytics of pages you don't own or not?
You
Because
could,
like on Facebook analytics, right? There's a button on there I can see like the trends and whatever, right?
oh, on Facebook.
Yeah.
Quite honestly, I haven't really used Facebook Insights or the analytics tools in a long time. I don't even know what's available. The other day, excuse me, I was trying to create a group, and I was like, oh, yeah, wow, they got all these new features. I have been off Facebook for so long that I haven't familiarized myself with all the tools. And so I'm gonna have to do a little legwork on that on my own, and this will give me the opportunity to. But in terms of sharing your website, uh, we would need access to your login to get the analytics,
Oh, oh, okay, okay,
and we want both the WordPress and the GoDaddy information. Follow?
okay.
Two
So
two separate things.
yeah, two things for two things. Name and
Yep,
username and password
yep. You
for
got it. You got it. You got it. You're on the right track. Okay, cool.
yeah. Sweet dog walk. Hey, good night.
Yeah, you too.
Right? I mean,
Yeah,
or
good.
I mean,
Whatever it
you're
is.
going to bed.
Yeah, I'm going to bed. And then
Yeah.
so you know what? I'm not gonna do anything just yet. I'm gonna hold off. I'm just gonna think about it. And one of the things I want to review your Facebook pages a little more too. I've been looking at your website. I hadn't really looked at your Facebook pages.
Yeah, you should definitely go through it. You'll see like what they do and what my approaches are, and I never post anything that's negative in any type of way and all that blah blah blah.
Right. All right, Nick. Good talking to you. And then I have a friend visiting me tomorrow, and like I said, I got a lot of things that are going on. But I'll just work on this on my free time, and at some point I'll send you an email and just let you know where things
Okay.
are at. And if in the meantime you get any of that information gathered, go ahead and send it to me.
Yeah. Well,
Okay, awesome. We'll talk to you later.
thanks.
Yeah, you're welcome. Bye bye.